Felicia,
Fresh.
so excited what we've been able to do in just a few days with the WeCreate Vision Laser Engraver and Cutter.
It really is quite amazing what we've been able to accomplish in such a short time.
Should we do show and tell?
Let's do.
I want to do show and smell, but we can't do that here because I smell wood burning. What is that?
Yeah, right.
First of all, tumblers are huge right now.
Tumblers
Everyone
are huge.
wants to engrave tumblers.
Everybody does.
And we were able to come up with our own little designs. You see, we took a play on Stanley because everybody has to have Stanley tumblers or you're not cool. So we decided we didn't want to do that because we're kind of goth. So we did Simba, so we made a Simbly. We did Stallion, we made Stally. And then Manly. Instead of a Stanley, we did a Manly tumbler. How cool is that? But look at the quality of this. Were you blown away by
Yeah,
that?
I am. It is quite amazing what we were able to do. And the quality, it's just perfect. The lines are perfect.
They are pretty amazing. There's better detail than I've ever seen on any laser engraver
it looks great.
thus far.
It
And
really
where did we get this just for people playing along at home? Where did this tumbler come from?
That came from Michael's.
Michael's, what, about $9? $9
or $10 for the tumbler.
A little cheaper than $50 for a Stanley?
Yeah, it is. Obviously, it's a lot smaller than the Stanleys are, but nonetheless, it works great.
I'm going to try to do some bigger ones too, but that just came through. It's just unbelievable how well that worked.
Like I said, the lines, the edges are perfect.
It is really, really perfect. Like, a lot better than a couple of things we've done with a different brand. So, yeah, nice work WeCreate on being able to. Maybe it's the 20 watt that makes the difference.
Maybe it is.
All right. And then we made these anchors.
We did. We made these anchors.
We're doing a inaugural sail on Icon of the Seas by Royal Caribbean, the largest cruise ship of the world.
That's right.
We wanted to adorn our doors with something cool. Actually, you made this for some other people.
I made this for some other people, and then I made this one for us.
And we have another one we're going to put on our in case somebody steals one.
Exactly. And we're going to hang this on our door so when people walk by, maybe they'll scan our QR code and follow us on YouTube.
So we cut these out of wood, put magnets on the back. Most of the doors and walls are metal on cruise ships.
Most of them are.
And this will hang on there nicely. And this is removable too. So you can change this every time you go on a different cruise.
Right.
And engrave something else and then pop these in the shadow box.
Yours is on with magnets and this one is on with Velcro.
Velcro, yeah. So you've got some options there. That's interesting. And then you could start a little collection of shadow boxes with all the cruises. Right. So these you're selling on your Etsy store?
We are.
Or will be?
We will be.
That's pretty cool. And you did 99% of this with the, you didn't do the rope and the metal with it.
Right. No, we didn't, but everything else was cut with the tool.
Gotcha. Very cool. Unbelievable. Beautiful. Nice work here.
Thanks.
All right, let's go on to this. Now, I did have a light problem. We have LED lights behind it. This is our new logo for our cruise channel on YouTube. So subscribe to that if you get a chance. And don't forget to subscribe to this one, too, and hit that notification bell so you know when we're going live. Lido Deck Diaries. This is our new logo for our cruise channel. We just rebranded for the 18th time. And this had really cool LED lights behind it until it didn't. Unfortunately, we cheaped out on the LED lights, and there's a little strip, and it broke. I tried to put it back together, but these wires are so fine.
Yeah, so we'll have to replace the lights.
Yeah,
but
we'll
nonetheless,
we've got them like
we
wired
were playing around to see what we could do with the tool.
I have some B-roll. You can see what this looks like. Probably put that on top of this. But this was amazing. I mean, tell me about this thing. What's the deal here?
So we bought this frame pre-built already.
Right.
And then we cut everything out here, cut the words, the wood, and everything with the WeCreate. And then we used a piece of thin, what is it called?
Like acrylic, kind of like smoky.
Paper thin acrylic sheet.
Yeah.
And we mounted it on the back here, and we used little pieces of wood to raise it off of the board so we could attach the lights underneath.
You also used the acrylic sheet. You needed that to fill in the D's, the spots here that were cut out.
Right, because we didn't want the lights to be in those spots.
Right.
And we used some metallic-y paints to paint the board.
This is neat. This is my favorite project.
It was kind of fun.
I wish it still worked, but I'm going to redo the lights probably today. I'll take it apart.
I love the concept of it. I think that we're going to...
You used this little cutout for the hanger thing. That's clever, right?
We did.
And hot glue.
Hot glue.
That stuff sets fast.
You can't mess around with it. It's hot, number one, so be careful you don't burn yourself, but it does set fast.
Unbelievable. So I love this too. And then you did another thing, a mirror. Show us that.
So we had this wood mirror that we stained black. And we engraved the mirror, and we added fairy lights to the back.
Oh,
and I'll turn on. There's two sets.
We should have used those in here.
And look how pretty that is.
That's amazing.
Right? I love that.
See, it's like a shadow box frame.
It's like a shadow box frame that we purchased and then we stained, and engraved the mirror, added the fairy lights behind it, and there you go.
The little lights that kind of don't take up much room, so you put a little hanger on here to hang on the wall, and every
Exactly.
time you look at it, you're like, oh, hello, beautiful. Go ahead.
Oh, hey.
Oh, unbelievable.
That's pretty, right?
And
I
these
really
lights,
like
you can
this.
change these batteries if you need to?
You could, yeah, absolutely.
Clever. And you could probably sell that at art shows, too.
Probably could.
We're so
I really
excited.
like
We're
this
going
one.
to take these all to the spring art shows this year, and
I really like that a
whole
lot.
new offerings. I'm very, very excited about this stuff. All right, now the force de majeure, your big project. This is like your final exam, your doctorate.
My doctorate.
I
after
wanted
using the
to-
machine for a week or two.
Wanted to do something for Mom, okay? So we did this thing for Mother's Day. What it is, it's a word search with a whole bunch of positive words. I think we have 5 in there. We had more,
Right.
but Mom's getting a little bit up there. I mean, when you get to be our age, if you get to live this long, your mom's going to be up there as well if she's still here. And she's probably not going to have the best vision. So we need something a little bit bigger. I didn't want her to struggle to see what was on here. So she could look across from it. So we made very big letters. Now tell us about this project.
So we repurposed a glass frame that we had, and we took a piece of wood and we engraved the edge to make it look like a frame. And then we, let's take that back. We laser filled. We fill engraved, I think is how it's worded.
Okay.
The edge, and then we engraved or scored the letters onto the board.
Right.
And then we did the same thing here. We engraved or scored the words down here and then stuck it to the board. And up here, the words, and these are not painted. This is cut red acrylic.
So it gives it some dimensionality. It makes it look really, really cool.
Right.
You could have do that with wood, too, and paint it red. But
Absolutely could. And I might consider doing a different font that's not quite as thin.
yeah, that's
But
neat.
I think it turned out really well.
Yeah, it looks
and
amazing.
it cut the WeCreate cut red thin acrylic with
3
no
millimeter.
issues. With no issues.
Good.
Yeah.
It looks wonderful. It looks amazing.
Yep.
And I love the color choice there, too. And it just works with this
Just
frame.
pops, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a neat gift idea.
So hopefully she's not watching this and she won't see this because Mother's Day is a few, well, depending when you're watching this, but you can see the words are up here. Now she could actually highlight these or paint them, but it's kind of
She could.
visual.
It's just a visual, right?
You had some other ideas too. You wanted to reverse engrave or fill engrave the letters so she could find the words, but I thought that took some of the fun out. I think it's more fun to find them. So you give it a little key down here. This is what you should be looking for because this is what I think about your mom. And
Right. So you can see here's beautiful. Here's patient. Strong.
And you could put more in here
Loving.
too. If mom's got great vision,
Right.
or mom's a little bit younger, or somebody
Absolutely.
else.
Make it yours.
This was
Customize it.
originally a lot smaller with a lot more letters.
This was a lot smaller with a lot more letters. I mean, we knocked it down for a variety of different reasons, but I think it works. I think it works nicely.
It turned out big. It actually came out really, really nice, and we're going to hang it on the wall here. All right, so you're going to guide people on how to do this. This is today's project?
Yes, let's walk through all the steps that we took to create this.
Let's take a look at our Happy Mother's Day word search project. Oh, Felice, look at you using ChatGPT.
How cool is that?
This is the easiest way to kind of get a word search together.
This was the fastest way I found to put one together.
We're paying for it anyway, right?
We are, right?
Looks like it did a pretty good job. Did they copy these as text or images?
It copied them as images.
Okay. So you wanted to take these out and maybe change the font. How would you do that?
Right. So I did this a couple of different ways. I told it what I wanted it to do. I gave it the words and it created these word searches for me. And it saves it out as an image if you wanted to just right click on it and copy it. But if you want, you can tell it to save it as an Excel file and then download that file and open that up in Excel. That's really cool. It gives you all the letters in individual cells and then you have to format it to get the column widths and the borders around it.
See, that gives you the unlimited creativity here. Now you can change the fonts, you can change the size, basically do whatever you want here.
That's right.
All right, but we do have one problem. We'll talk about that in a second if we put it in Excel. But I love that you can change the font to anything you want. You made a nice, really big, thick, easy to read font here, right?
Right.
All right, so that looks awesome. And again, you can make these as big or as small as you want. But you're really only constrained by the size of your media, right?
Correct.
16 by 12, I think, is WeCreate.
16 by 12, yes.
Yeah, okay. So this actually came out to about, what, 12 inches wide?
It was much bigger than than I thought it was going to be.
All right, so what are you doing here?
So here we're just adding a border around each one of the cells so that it has the defined Scrabble look, so to speak.
If you were okay with what was in ChatGPT, you would just copy that image out and just use that.
You absolutely could. You could copy it out and then I would load it into LightBurn and trace that image so that it gets rid of all the white fill that comes across and then load that into WeCreate software.
Is LightBurn free?
LightBurn is a paid subscription.
I think you get 30-day trial and then what, $60 a year or something?
Right, so here I am actually bringing the Excel file into LightBurn, tracing the image and telling it to get rid of the original and just give me the trace, which is what that is right there. And then saving this out, well, first before I saved it out, I actually gave it an offset, 2-layer offset, because I want that offset to be a fake frame, so to speak. So we're going to engrave that offset, engrave that offset, and then we're going to engrave all the letters.
Okay. Nice.
So that's what this is doing here, is showing how to use the offset feature to increase and get it just the way you want it to be.
We may be able to do this in the WeCreate software, we just haven't figured it out yet.
That's true. That is true. It is very true.
Yeah.
So we added, like I said, 2 different size offsets here so we can give it that filigree or fake frame look.
Yeah, that's a great look. It came out really well. So you're doing all this in here, and then you're going to save it here and then save it out as a what?
We're going to export it out, and I believe it exports it out in an SVG format so that you can load that right into WeCreate software.
Oh, that's pretty handy.
Yep, see, there it is, SVG format. Just give it a file name.
So you got the chunky letters exactly the way you want. You have the squares sized in the manner you think is going to work for this project.
That's right. So then we're just going to load that right into WeCreate software. We can size it down, make it bigger, make it smaller, whatever we want right here within the tool.
Look at you. And what did you do in WeCreate? Did you make any adjustments here?
We did not make any adjustments here.
Okay. So we ended up about 12 inches wide. Are these all separate pieces?
No, they're not. But that offset, I subtracted that offset from the image so that I could make sure that that was just the border, not the inset piece.
You're telling how you want to engrave it here.
Right, so I'd set the fill engrave.
Fill engrave.
Fill engrave. And
other software calls it something else.
That's right, so that's why I get confused sometimes when we're talking.
Fill engrave.
Right, and then we're telling it that we're using the basswood for our material.
Okay.
And then we send it off. Now what I did forget to do, and you'll see in the video here in a minute, is I forget to actually set what I wanted the engrave settings to be. But that's okay, because we have a trick here we figured out. So we're gonna go ahead and send this over, and it's gonna start the fill engrave piece first. We actually thought that it would go across and fill engrave and engrave as it went down the board, but it actually did the fill engrave complete before it went back and did the engraving pieces for the letters.
Okay. I guess it has a order of operations it does. Okay. Now you did mention there's a pro tip here, because we did make a little error.
We did make a little error, and you'll see this in a few minutes, but if the error was that we didn't give it enough oomph, for lack of better words, enough oomph when we did the engrave feature. So without moving the board, leaving it in the machine without moving it whatsoever,
it's hard to videotape.
We went back and ran the engrave piece again, but we changed the settings a little bit, and now we'll actually show what that looks like here in a second.
So it's engraving pretty deeply to create that really cool looking frame look you were looking for.
Right.
Interesting. You know what's interesting is there's no magnets or nothing that hold this board.
There are not. I thought that was interesting as well.
I actually have some magnets I may pop in there, but that might be a good little suggestion for the future here. It is a metal base. And just in case the machine, your table wobbles a little bit sometimes.
Right.
Like ours is pretty stable, but I could see, actually it did wobble with something we had in there, didn't it? Was it the mirror? The first mirror
I think it was the mirror, yes.
And then you put silicone down.
We did. We put a silicone mat inside. We did 2 things. It didn't move the mirror, and it also gave us a lighter background so we could actually see the mirror inside the machine.
Look how light this is.
Right, so it's engraving the first row of boxes, and then when it finishes the boxes, it'll go back and start the engrave process for the letters. And you can see as it starts it, they're very light.
Yeah, it's too light.
So I hesitated. I wanted to just stop it and start all over, but that fill engrave piece took quite a while to do. So I just let this run, and then I went back into the system and I made a change to the settings for engrave, and let it run one more time without touching the board, and it worked perfectly.
And it lined up perfectly.
It did. It lined up perfectly.
You got lucky. If you had moved that board,
I got real lucky.
Yeah,
you can see here's the second run.
It looks
and you can see
better.
that the letters are now popping. It's the power and speed that I used to get the darker engrave look.
Gotcha. Oh, that looks good.
And now we've just added a cut line around the outside of it so we can actually pull it off of that board and put it on our frame. All right, so now we're back in WeCreate software, and you actually created a title for us in a pretty font that had some hearts in it, and I've pulled that into the software and sized it down to fit on the material we're going to use, which is
cast acrylic sheet, which was a mistake, wasn't it?
right, is a pink cast acrylic sheet.
My
it's
bad.
actually 3 millimeters
Yeah.
in size. We thought it would work on this machine, but it actually didn't.
Yeah.
And here I contoured the image and pulled out the fill engrave bitmap piece and just left the cut line here. And I used black acrylic setting and left the defaults to see how it would perform.
So we did try, if you watched our other video, we tried to do clear acrylic or transparent, and it just didn't work.
Right,
with
it
this.
didn't work.
It will do translucent, it just can't do clear.
Right.
And here is your cut.
Well, we thought it was cut, and it actually is not cut through at all. It
melted
actually looks
acrylic?
like it's melted.
Yeah.
So this is probably not a good viable option for this tool, but then we did have a separate piece of red, I believe it's 2 millimeter acrylic. We ran that through the machine and
This is a
worked
different brand. Is
flawlessly.
this Glowforge?
This is actually Glowforge red acrylic.
But WeCreate says on its product specification it can cut up to 8 millimeter black acrylic.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And here it is, the moment of Ruth.
And
That font's kind of thin.
the font is very thin, so it was kind of I had to wiggle it out just a little bit. If I flip it over, I still have the paper backing on. You can see just kind of wiggling it out.
Yeah.
Trying to be really delicate because it is a very thin font.
It's 2 pieces
And it is 2 separate pieces
broken by the
by the apostrophe, right. All right, so now we're going to put the words at the bottom of our, the words that are in the puzzle.
The
we're gonna
key.
actually, the key, or sure. So we're gonna actually
I don't know what it's called.
engrave
Yeah.
those on a separate little piece of wood. So we're setting that up to do that.
Okay. There's your key, your guide. I don't know, what is this thing called? Somebody help us with the comments. What is
These
this
are
thing
the
called?
words you're supposed to search for in your word search.
That's it. What kind of acronym? Words you're supposed to YWS WIS.
Right, so we pulled it out. It looked pretty good, but we had some burn marks on the edge of there, so we took a microfiber cloth, added a little bit of water, and the burn marks kind of wiped off very, very nicely.
Yeah. Our camera's kind of super focusing here, so I apologize if it's a little jumpy. But yeah, that cleaned up nicely. You put a little water on there.
Yeah.
I didn't think you could use water on wood, but that's
Worked very well.
brilliant.
No, I didn't soak it. I just had a little bit of water on there just to kind of soften it a little bit. You can see that it cleaned up very well.
It did. It did a good job. Now there is air assist built into the WeCreate Vision,
Yes, there is.
which is very nice.
But based on the settings, the higher setting that I put in there to get that darker, darker engraved look.
Yeah.
And there you have it.
Look at that. It's gorgeous.
Cute, right?
Fabulous. Good work, Felicia. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. We love you.
Thank you. Bye, Felicia.
I knew she was going to say that. Can you believe that you made that?
I can't believe
with
I
the
made
WeCreat
that.
Vision?
It is very, very cool.
I think
It's
something
a, it's a
you buy-
really neat machine.
Buy from somebody who's been doing this for 100 years. How long have you had this machine?
Couple of weeks.
Wow. Good work, Felice. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe, and thank you for watching. We love you.
Thank you. Bye, Felicia.
I knew she was going to say that.